One of my all-time favorite Counter-Strike maps is CS Estate, also known as Zaphod's Estate. At its core, Estate is a hostage rescue map with a deceptively simple layout. You've got a basement, a first floor, and a second floor. If you're playing as a counter-terrorist, the objectives are straightforward: rescue the hostages, or eliminate all of the terrorists. No frills, no nonsense. Just a map that works. But simple doesn't mean boring. Estate has a personality all its own. Visually, it's not exactly a work of high art, but somehow it stands out. There's the lush greenery surrounding the property, the welcoming courtyard, and that beautiful sunset skybox that bathes the entire estate in a warm glow. And once you get inside, there are plenty of little details to discover. You can flick the lights on and off. There are famous paintings scattered throughout the house. And then there's the table. A completely ordinary-looking table that, if you manage to glitch it just right, can send you flying across the room at what appears to be near hypersonic speeds. Is it silly? Absolutely. Is it fun? Very much so. But the story behind Estate is just as interesting as the map itself. Estate was created by David Marsh, better known by his alias, Zaphod. And apparently the map came about because he was frustrated with another map. At the time, a map called Mansion was being played on a server called Apelint. Zaphod wasn't impressed. So instead of simply complaining about it, he decided he could do better. And he did. In roughly half a month, Zaphod had created Estate, which was good enough to replace Mansion on the server. That's a pretty impressive turnaround. And it gets even more interesting from there. Mansion may have been the first Counter-Strike map, but Estate quickly began carving out a legacy of its own. By Counter-Strike Beta 6.5, Estate had caught the attention of Jess Cliff, who included it in the official map rotation. Eventually, Valve purchased the rights to the map and integrated it into Counter-Strike 1.6. So a map that started as one mapper's attempt to make something better than Mansion eventually became an official part of Counter-Strike. And then there's Zaphod himself. After his maps made it into Counter-Strike, he apparently had a rather modest view of his newfound fame. According to Zaphod, and I quote, "It's hard to go out in public anymore, and I find that I have to wear dark sunglasses and a trench coat. But the women... all I can say is that I'm typing this on my poolside laptop with 7 beautiful ladies, including Eurobrew's mom." But seriously, I haven't gotten that much feedback, especially about Tundra. True? Probably not. Should it be? Absolutely. But buried underneath the joke was something that a lot of mappers can probably relate to. Zaphod once described mapping this way: "But I'm sure the horrible disease in my blood that is mapping will not stay dormant for long." And honestly, that line captures the experience remarkably well. Anyone who's ever poured themselves into making a map knows what he's talking about. It's a compulsion, a relentless itch that you can't quite scratch. You can spend hours working on some tiny section of geometry that nobody else will ever notice. It's 3 a.m. Your eyes hurt. Your fingers are cramping. You know you should probably go to bed. But you keep working because you map, because you can, and eventually, because you have to. There's something strangely addictive about taking a collection of brushes, textures, lights, and geometry, and turning them into a place where people can actually play. You start with an empty space, and somehow, you turn it into a battlefield. That's the invisible disease Zaphod was talking about. the quiet obsession that drives people to create some of the greatest maps. And, occasionally, the madness behind them. Of course, Zaphod's career didn't end with Estate. He went on to design Tundra, CS Iraq, and other maps. He also contributed to Day of Defeat, and later worked on the cult classic Vampire the Masquerade: Bloodlines. Eventually, he and his brother would go on to co-found Nimblebit, taking his career far beyond the world of Counter-Strike mapping. And that's what makes Estate more interesting to me than just being another classic Counter-Strike map. Because Estate isn't just a map. It's a chronicle of a young designer's passion, his rise through the modding community, and the mark he left on Counter-Strike. What started as one mapper looking at Mansion and thinking, I can do better, eventually became one of the most recognizable maps in Counter-Strike history. And somewhere in all of that is probably the real story of Estate. Not just the mansion, not just the hostage rescue, but the person who built it.